Hi, Timmy.
Hi.
So, welcome to the Feminist Lens. Today, we are going to talk about something very important, and I think that it is very useful. It's a very important and useful conversation. And we are talking about feminism. Are we making progress or we are just marketing it? So, we need to understand if we are really making progress with this feminist thing. There's like a feminist movement or a feminist wave right now, especially in Nigeria. And a
Mm.
lot of people are saying, oh, I am a feminist. A lot of women are now having the audacity to come out and say, I am a feminist. And I need to know if we are really making progress or people are just coming out to say they are feminists without doing the work, without doing without knowing exactly what feminism is and what feminism is all about. And not just saying that they are feminists, actively and constantly doing the work to make sure that all women are liberated and all women come to the light. So today we are talking about feminism. Are we making progress or we are just marketing it? What do you think, Timmy? Are we making progress? Are we marketing it? Are we just saying we are feminists without actually exhibiting what it takes to be feminist? What do you think?
Before I give an answer, right, I feel like a lot of people who say, oh, feminists are just online making noise, they are just angry, they are just bitter women. What do we need feminism for? Sometimes that's what you hear people say. But I can guarantee you the kind of progress that has been made. The reason why people are able to say things like that is because most of them only live in big cities where and they just live in, you know how people come on social media and they watch TikToks, you
Mm,
curate your FYP. So when
mm,
you curate your FYP and you don't curate the part of the media or the part of life where you are also affected, right? It's
mm.
very easy for you to throw things like, oh, rights? Sometimes you even hear things like, what rights do women lack
Black.
that they are
Yeah, I've
asking
heard that
for?
before. Yes.
That is just to tell you you just know that the person's interest has never been in topics like this, and they've lived their whole life not experiencing. They do experience misogyny if that is coming from a woman. They do experience the patriarchy, but they don't even have an idea of what it is. They just think that is just the natural order
They
of
have
things.
normalized it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then the things that they have benefited, they don't even know that it is a privilege and it
Somebody
was
worked
given
for
to
it.
someone work for them to have those privileges.
Yeah.
They don't know that part of life, right? They don't know that. But to be honest, feminism has made a lot of impact, a lot of influence. The fact that somebody like Senator Natasha can even be in the Senate in the first place is
Mm.
because of feminism. The fact that they can do something of that nature, that level of injustice that was done to her,
Mm.
and nothing happened to her, they even
Yes.
reinstalled her, it is because of feminism. Okay? If not for the uproar that people had, I'm telling you, that woman could have been her position could have been stripped off of her, and her people would also not benefit, right?
Yes.
They would
And
just
we are
look
not
for
even
a
sure
man.
if she will feel safe anymore.
Yeah, she will not even her husband, her children, they may not even be safe.
Mm.
Her position would have been taken from her, and nothing. Her people will suffer because they will just look for a man who they can use as a puppet and put there, and
Mm.
even her own people will suffer. So feminism has made progress, and most times when we say women did not have rights to work, right?
Mm.
Usually we don't understand how much, like, over the years, how things have changed. A lot of people think it is just something that happened in America or in the Western world generally. They will tell you that. I do believe that African women have always had to work as well. But when we talk about entering the workforce where you're even being paid for your labor, feminism has also made a progress even in Nigeria. Okay. So my
Mm.
grandmother used to tell me how much she hated the king of my village back then when she was alive. And I was like, why? She said she wanted to go to school, but because she was a woman, she couldn't go to school. She was not allowed to go to school. And they sent him to school. So she would tell me how she would go and stay somewhere and she would stone him Like she'll be stoning all the boys that they sent to school because she was
Yeah.
so angry why she would not get to go to school and they will go to
So there was
school.
actually a
And
time where women could not go to school in Nigeria.
of course, there
Mm.
are still up till this day, there are NGOs who they send money to them to pacify elders in certain uh,
Communities.
rural areas. They pacify their elders with money and gifts to allow their female children go to school till this day, right?
Wow. In
So
Nigeria.
yeah, I was describing my mother's side of the village to Ola the other day. Like I usually have that conversation with Ola all the time, but
Mm.
it's like every time we have the conversation, she's always surprised. Like this thing you're describing is still Nigeria, like it's
I'm
still
surprised
Nigeria.
too. I can't
And
believe it.
I'll tell her it is Nigeria. Children from that community are not educated. So if they say children are not educated, it means even if you can spare education, you would definitely send a boy child to school,
Mm, to school.
right?
Yeah. Mm.
My mother, when she was born, she used to be a very sick child. It got to a certain point, they couldn't like take care of her health anymore, and they threw her. There's this thing they will call kurmi. They just threw. That's the only reason she became educated. They threw her in that place. It's more like when they say kurmi in Hausa, when you're what Nollywood will call evil forest is just
Yes.
similar to what they will call evil forest. And somebody picked her from there, raised her a little bit, and they had sent her to go and stay with somebody, right? Where they eventually sent her to school, and that was how she became educated. If she had remained in that village, her chances of getting an education would have been next to none. Next
Yes.
to none. So feminism has made impact. The fact that we can even have these conversations, that we're even having social conversations, is because of feminism. We are raising awareness to the things that are abnormal that people have taken to be normal. Okay? So anybody that tells you that feminism is not making any progress, they think it is just the benevolence of men that is
They are
making
making
you to
women
have
have
this.
what they have. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
As
just
if men
somebody
are
who is not.
handing over rights to us out of the
Yeah,
abundance of their hearts. Just take
yeah,
this small rights. Let me give you. As if we did
yes.
not fight for it.
The fact that we are even having to say men are giving women rights, or women are fighting for rights, that in itself is the reason why you know that the world is unfair to another person. The fact that you have
You
to
have to
give
beg. Mm,
somebody rights, you get,
mm,
human beings should naturally be born with respect.
mm.
Like you should respect a human being because they
Just
are
like men
lives.
are automatically born with respect and value.
Exactly. So when we're talking about rights, we should be talking about things like, oh, if somebody is working for you, he deserves this amount of pay. He deserves. Those are the things that people should. They shouldn't be fighting for things that makes them autonomous beings. It
Human
shouldn't. They
rights.
shouldn't be. Yes, they shouldn't be fighting for basic human rights. If we are even fighting, it should be things like labor law,
Mm,
okay,
mm.
but not for a human being to fight to be treated as another human being. So of course I do believe that feminism has made a lot of progress, and we're still making progress.
So if you can quantify, how much progress do you think we have made in Nigeria?
I don't think there's a number that we can use to quantify, but let me just give like instances, years, dispensations, so that we can, maybe it will just help us. If
Mm.
you look at far back as 2000 and was it 2013, like when Instagram, the early days of 2013, 2010-ish, I'm not sure when, but I know around 2013, 14,
Mm.
15, somewhere around there, if a woman wears a dress with cleavage on, I remember there's this lady Gbemi O. She's an on-air personality. If you've seen any of her, there was a dress she wore in 2015 specifically for someone's wedding, and her cleavage was on and all that. The level of the way they dragged her, even churches would print her pictures and use as, they will now cancel it
Yes, no
and
dressing
use
in
those.
church. Yeah.
Yeah, they will use those pictures as example of how people who are going to hell. So they will use those pictures. If you come on social media with anything like a bikini, anything on clouds in Nigeria back in just 2015 is just 10
Just
years.
recently, yes.
Yes, it's very recent. It's just 10 years. The level at which, but today, because women are making videos, women are, in fact, they would harass you even in public. But now people are coming out to speak. People are like, you don't have a right over a person's body. There's nothing about the person's body that if you are not sexualizing them or objectifying them, their boobs being outside shouldn't be any of your business and things like that. And those levels of advocacy is the reason why today it is now normal. I don't think anybody sees, even pastors, you can see a deeper life pastor seeing a woman with, and they don't even feel the need to talk to you, harass you, or do anything of such like that. So that is progress. That is a lot of progress. The fact that before now, I'm looking for like social and cultural context, right? Before now, things like female genital mutilation was it was a normal thing.
Yes.
Advocacy and the rest, education and everything, that is something that no matter who hears it now understands that that's an abominable thing to do to somebody. That's barbaric.
Yes. A woman, I think a woman, I don't know if it's a woman or women, were recently arrested in Gambia for female genital mutilation.
Exactly. Those things happen in Nigeria also. A lot of people don't even know. There are cultures who still practice it till this day.
Yeah.
It's just that when they catch them, they know that it is not legal
Now
for
it's
them
something.
to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we also talk about things like even with the way they used to demonize and shame women for having sexual experiences, right? Now I see women boldly coming out on social media to even tell their story, how I went on a date with somebody, I had sex with this
Yeah.
person, I slept. You know,
Yes,
before
yes. Without shame.
now,
Yes.
it's not possible. It's not possible. So those of us who were born Christians, you know, when we find
You need to add
ourselves,
that before now, only men have the audacity to do that.
yeah, they were the one, and they would
And the
even
girl
wear
they
it.
sleep with is considered as trash.
Exactly. So, you know, to a point where a lot of young girls even took their own lives because of how they were shamed in communities. And it's not like they were the ones talking about it. A man would even lie. Some of those men, it's not like they actually slept with those ladies, and they will lie, and this lady will be walking and
Tarnish
everybody
her
will be laughing
image.
at her and they will shame her. Yeah, they will go ahead and take their own lives, you know, things like that. That shame has drastically reduced. All of those things, even though it is not totally gone, it has drastically reduced. So feminism is it has made a lot of progress that we cannot even quantify. It has made progress. We still have a lot to do, but then even the fact that we can sit down today and be like, oh, there are good men and there are like, I'm not talking from a feminist point of view, because personally I don't believe there
Yeah.
are good men or anything, but the fact that people can sit down and have that conversation, oh, there are good men and bad men and all, is because of feminism. Okay, it's because of feminism that we can even have those kind of
Before we just
conversations.
make do with whatever we get.
Yeah. Yeah, you just married a man.
Yeah.
You just married a man.
Do you think that it's causing like high rate of divorce? Feminism.
Yeah, I feel like it does have a hand in it, and I love it.
Because now
I
women
love
can
that
walk
it had,
away.
yeah. Yeah, I do. I do feel like it is, because one thing with feminism is it promotes self-awareness. It promotes abuse awareness. It promotes literacy. If you ever want to even just read the definition of feminism, like the very basic, very popular definition of feminism, that in itself, right, can help you to understand that the situation that you find yourself. See, anytime somebody tells me that, I've gotten a message from somebody and the person was like, I watch your videos and I've been really sad my entire marriage, but I cannot place my hands on why I feel that way. Like he does not cheat, he does not beat me, but I recently found out going through your videos that I was going through
Emotional
emotional
abuse.
abuse, mental abuse, social abuse, and things like that gladdens my heart, because most of the reasons why our grandmothers died in so much pain that we don't even know, a lot of them have arthritis, romanticism, BP, all of those things,
Yes.
is because they can't even tell exactly what, when the society normalize your abuse,
Mm.
right? It's difficult for you to see what you can't even say. If everyone else is going through the same kind of abuse and you may not feel good about it, but you cannot exactly say there's something wrong with me because everyone else has normalized that
Yeah, people will
behavior.
think that there's something wrong with you actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is some of those are some of the benefits of feminism. It gives people voices, and with a voice, and you're demanding from somebody who
Mm.
is insisting to not respect you or see you as a human being, of course divorce rates will go up.
Yes.
I don't even think divorce rates are going up as high
Enough.
as I would want it to go,
Yeah.
to be honest.
There is divorce rate, there is child free, women choosing to remain single and child free.
This is the
I think
first
it's
time.
due to
This
the
is the
rise of
first time
feminism.
women are even being able to say, "I don't want children." It wasn't
Yeah.
a thing of there was no. It wasn't a thing of whether you want to have children or not.
You have to. I think we finished that conversation, so we can move to the next question.
Okay.
How do you think social media has shaped the visibility of feminism?
Social media right now is a golden tool. In fact, social media is the indicator of like the fourth wave of feminism and the most recent wave of feminism. It's basically advocacy, social media, and all of that. So, social media right now, the reason why we are seeing a very, very high regression with the patriarchy and men, because when you look at it now, it's like men, religion, and everything is trying everything possible to tighten their belt
Mm.
so that they can take us back to where we are coming from. It is actually because of social media. Social media gave everybody a voice,
Mm.
and then it gave everybody a valid voice. It's not just giving a voice, it gave you a valid voice, because if you start creating content, as soon as you have up to 1,000 followers, your voice has become something that people should be cautious of, okay?
Mm.
Because that voice can grow overnight into anything. And then even if you don't have like up to 1,000 followers, just creating one video and putting up, we don't know where that video can go. And social media is also a connecting tool. And that's why Tofumi can be in Germany and I'm in Nigeria, you're in Finland, and we are all
Connected.
interconnected. We share, yeah,
Yes.
so it also amplified what the patriarchy banked on before now, is that the women within their community are few. So the men in that community are able to like overthrow them because their voices can be shut easier. Okay.
Mm.
But what social media did is to give us a voice in a way that distance is no longer a barrier.
Maria.
So when something happens let's say when something happens in Auchi, for
Mm.
example,
Mm.
the men in Auchi cannot overpower, because the voices of women all over the world through social media can amplify that issue. And that is one power that a
And
lot
then
of
draw
women.
attention to the people of what is going on there.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. So, there were times where if a woman dares to stand up against the patriarchy,
Yeah.
they can just unalive her and nobody will even know.
Mm.
There's this myth, this lie that has been spread that people will be like, oh, women outnumber men. There are more women
And
than there
men.
are men. But that is not exactly true. There are more men than
That's
there are women. So there were times where there were times where people like there were times where like within a community, if it's like you're giving birth to so many women, they begin to unalive these girls.
yes,
Like even young children, they will take
yes.
their lives because they want more men and everything. There are times where our grandmothers would even force them to go beyond and above to ensure that they give birth to boys. So even with midwives, when they see that it's a girl, they just these things actually happened. But right now we have social media now that
Yeah, sorry. I
both.
want to ask you something about the glorification of the boy child. Do you think it stems from patriarchy and their desperation for dominance? Is it the reason why the boy child is more respected and more important than the girl child? That if a woman gives birth to a boy child, they say yes, she has arrived. If she keeps giving birth to girls without boys, they say that they need a boy child. So is it stemming from the place where they want their legacy to continue, or they just want patriarchy to continue to thrive and they want male dominance? Or you think it's both?
It is patriarchy, it is male dominance. Listen, you see this conversation of legacy, continuing legacy.
Hmm.
It is a very, very recent concept. This whole idea of having children for your legacy to continue,
Hmm.
right? The
Hmm.
whole idea of male dominance and the rest is also rooted in patriarchy. So let's just say it is the patriarchy that emphasizes the relevance of having a boy child.
Hmm.
Because when you look at it, before now, children were really just born as slaves, really. So back then, where people were the major source of livelihood of humans was farming. Okay,
Yes.
so people were giving birth to children to work on these farmlands.
Hmm.
It was that dynamic that was copied and replicated in the later slavery, that's enslavement of
Yes.
other people, black
Yes.
people and the other people who were colonized and enslaved and the rest.
Hmm.
So if you now look at this whole idea of saying giving birth to a child as their to continue their legacy is recent. It's something that started happening maybe less than 100 years ago. That's when people started talking about continuing of.
Legacy. Yeah.
I don't
Sorry,
know
go
what's
on the internet.
I don't know what's going on with my network.
Fine.
Um, okay, so the whole idea of lineage, legacy, whatever, it's very recent. And to be honest, if we're looking at it, men don't care about their lineage.
Hmm.
They don't. Because if they did care about their lineage or their legacy or anything like that, they will take time to actually protect lives. They would take time to protect lives. But
Hmm.
if they are not protecting lives, they don't care about their lineage or their legacy. And if you actually care about your lineage, you would actually say the person who is able to continue your lineage should be a girl child, because it's a girl child that is able to reproduce.
Reproduce. Yes.
Yeah. And when you look at all those things in the Bible, be like, oh, a man shall leave his father and his mother and be clean. They didn't say a woman, like those kind of, anyway, those are not even necessary things for the conversation. But
Yeah.
what I'm just saying is they in reality they don't care about anything like lineage. So the whole idea of giving birth to male children and prioritizing male children is this: the patriarchy is a game of numbers.
Hmm.
Okay, if there are more women, there will be more voices of women echoing that this thing you're doing to us is not fair.
Hmm.
Okay, so men understand that if there's like, let's say 40% of men and 60% of women, the patriarchy is in trouble.
Yes. And I've seen a lot of men, like a lot of young men who are trying to continue to enjoy the power that their parents enjoy. That's the reason why you see a man say, women of these days are no longer like our mothers. Women of these days no longer enjoy. It's because more women are beginning to refuse that pattern and they are feeling like they are beginning to lose their powers that the fathers enjoyed, that they hoped to enjoy in the future, and now they are not enjoying that power anymore, and they are like, women are changing.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't even see it as them enjoying anything, to be honest. They just see it as them failing the patriarchy. The
Mm,
patriarchy is a mental system.
mm,
What they captured is your mentality they captured, be your mental strength, is your mind that was captured, right?
mm,
So there's a subconscious need to protect that system.
mm.
So whatever it, you know what it means for you to look at a system, and even when that system is abusing you yourself,
Mm.
but there's a part of you that still want to
Want
protect
that
that system,
system.
because if you
Yes.
look at it, the modern man is not exactly benefiting from the patriarchy.
Of course, of
The
course.
patriarchy was designed in times where we don't people were not working this hard,
Mm,
okay? And if they actually want to go by the rules of the patriarchy, they themselves cannot survive this particular dispensation. They can't.
yeah,
When you look at things like being a provider,
yeah. In this
back then
economy,
people were not sending, and there was no concept of school like
yeah,
this formal education. So there's nothing like paying school fees for anybody,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's nothing like you have to train your child properly. Like there is nothing. There is
Mm,
really nothing
mm,
that a man had to do. But
mm.
right now, aside from financially, they are demanding more from you. So you cannot
Yes,
hold on to the patriarchy. It is not a tool that can actually help you. But for a person to look at that system and still be like, oh, I still prefer that system, there's something in the mind that has been captured.
mentally. It's
So
like mental slavery.
you will see a poor black man.
Mm.
Tell me why you are a poor black man and for some reason you think you can dominate anybody at all. It can only end with maybe you married a
You're
wife.
black,
Do you understand?
you are poor. You are
You're black.
three dangerous
Like,
combinations.
you understand?
Yeah,
There is no way that when they are talking about that ladder,
yeah,
you are not even, there are women above you on that ladder. There
yeah.
are white women who are above you on that ladder. So for that person to still hold on to that system,
Mm.
but the only reason that they can tell them that this is a visible system that you're seeing is that they tell you that there are poor black women
Yeah, that you
underneath
can
you.
oppress under you.
Yeah. But aside from that, when you look at it, it's not like it benefits them. And to
Mm.
be honest, if the whole world, assuming the whole world has come to a point where they are like, let's do away with this whole patriarchal system.
Mm.
To be honest, the world would have been so much more better, even
Better.
for everybody, right?
Mm.
But because the patriarchy has captured their minds mentally, that's the reason why most of the time I tell you men get to a certain point and their evolving stops there. So their development does not grow past
Past that.
that point. There's a stumbling block there, and it is because of that mind that was captured.
Mm. Ah.
Yeah,
I would like.
I was talking about patriarchy being a game of numbers. So
Yes,
the
yes.
idea is to ensure that in every dispensation, men outnumber women. Because one thing that the patriarchy understand is that for you to subjugate a person, you are calling for war in the future. For you to
Yes,
subjugate, there
yes.
will come a time where
Oppression.
there will be
There
war.
will be
So
revolt.
yeah,
Yes.
so they need numbers
Mm.
before that time comes.
Mm.
So it is important that men outnumber women. Just like when slaves begin to give birth
Yeah.
to
It's sounding
more
like
children.
slavery. Yes.
Yeah, it's the same pattern. See, the subjugation of women is the pattern that was copied, is the exact blueprint that was copied. You know, when an architect carries a one building and duplicates it somewhere, that is the pattern they copied to succeed in colonialism and things like that. It's
Slavery.
the
Yes.
exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. The only reason why women are not even standing up to fight in this manner is because number one, when it started, they were highly outnumbered.
Mm.
So those early women who were kept alive were they ensured that their minds were totally captured. So
Mental
they
slavery.
passed,
They were
yes, mental
subdued
slavery. They passed
mentally, so
it
they can't
down.
fight.
yeah, they now passed it down. And trauma or whatever, it
Mm.
goes down generations onto
Yeah.
generations. And that is how it has been passing down generations onto generations until the generation that even normalized it. When you see that, if a woman, there's a time where I'm giving an example now, where a woman can be unalive for simply rejecting a man's proposal. And then
Yes.
you now go into a dispensation where a group of men are being like, no, we won't unalive you anymore. That
Yeah.
is not good.
Yes.
A part of you feels like, yeah, let's just forgive. It has
Yeah.
been, is a thing of the past. And then they don't exactly see everything.
Mm.
This is a generation of information. Like I said, social media, we are connecting with each other. Aside from social media, like even before now, information has been progressively becoming better, right?
Mm.
So that's why there's an uproar to this level. But we all have, and that's why I say we are all, at some point, we were all born pygmies. We get to a point where we become better. But in our core, to be honest, we are all pygmies because we carry generations of trauma. And
Yes.
it is not even like 10th generation, it goes far, far back.
Mm.
Okay?
Mm. Wow. So with what you're saying, we can agree. Both of us can agree that the awareness is not performative. It's not
It's
performative
not
activity.
performative.
It
Is
is
even
it is
if it
really
is, to be
working,
honest,
and
me,
we
I
can
don't
see
care.
the effect.
Yeah, we are seeing
Mm.
the effect. And even if it's performative, me, I used to tell people, even if it's a fake feminist, allow her to fake her feminism in peace. It
Mm.
doesn't matter. When you fake it, fake it, fake it becomes a part of you, okay?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sometimes you hear people will be like, oh, can a person be a Christian and be feminist? I'm like, I'm not
Yeah.
worried about that. She can be
Mm.
whatever she wants to be and be feminist.
Until she decides one day, as long as she
Yeah.
starts. Yeah.
And we learn with time. We learn with time. I know that the person I am today, like, I've experienced more things, I've seen more things than I did last year. If you watch my videos from last year, I
I
was
thought you were
calmer.
born feminist. Watching your video, one would think you were born feminist. Like inside your blood, they from.
Those I have Facebook posts from 2010-ish
Mm.
that, in my mind, as at the time, I believed I was being very radical. That kind of thing that I will say, and my family will call me and be like, delete that thing when
Yes.
you post, you understand?
Yes.
But now, anytime Facebook sends me a reminder,
Mm.
presently, I'll be embarrassed. I'll be like, in
And the
what
things you used
part
to
of my
post at
mind did
that
I think
time.
this was feminism? Because this is hyper pygmism. But at the time, it was that radical. You understand?
Mm.
So over the years, we become better and we learn better, right?
Mm. Mm. Okay. Sorry. This boy don't wake.
It's okay. Attend to him.
Sorry, my
Oh,
boy.
sorry.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Timmy.
It's okay. It's okay. Attend to him.
Okay. But what about the system? Are we seeing systematic changes, or we are just seeing social changes? Is this changes really entering the system? Because sometimes this liberation can be on like socially, and when it's not done systematically, that means there is this. Even though women feel like they are liberated, women feel like they are free, there is a system of oppression that is set in place that systematically work against them. So this liberation, are we seeing it systematically as much as we are seeing it socially?
Of course, it's happening both socially and systems are created from a social standpoint. You understand?
Mm.
When we talk about patriarchy, is a social construction. When we
Mm.
talk about religion, is a social construction. All those
Mm.
things that we call systems, they are actually a product of
Social.
socialization,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know if y'all know, but It is until 2015 that a man beating his wife became generally criminalized in Nigeria. There were places, something like Lagos State, before 2000, I think around 2000 and before 2007 or thereabout, it was criminalized, but that was Lagos State. But in other states, it was not criminalized. So it is not exactly punishable by the law until the VAP Act of 2015 that was implemented by Goodluck Jonathan due to an uproar. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Just 2015.
I can't believe
It's
this.
only 10 years.
I can't believe this. And recently I saw a post from this Lagos State domestic violence page where they were saying that there is no consent on the altar. So even if you are married to her, she can say no. I can only imagine that this is 2025 and we are still having to have conversation about women saying no to sex because they are married.
It is still that same VAP Act that prohibited rape even in marriage. So it is actually illegal. Just that when it comes, you have to have a lawyer that is aware of the VAP Act that can defend you. But if your lawyer too don't know, the judge too doesn't care, then they can throw it away. Okay? But the VAP Act of 20, VAP Act is the Violence Against Persons Prohibition. That includes verbally and physically assaulting children as well. So it's not just women, it's both,
Both
It
women
was
and
only
children.
it's only in 2015. But of course, we are very religious, right? Today, when I was taking a walk, I was coming back from my walk today, and I was even thinking I was going to make a video about this thing. I'm like, I do hope that women understand that there is no such a thing as giving your body to somebody. Like, so when they tell you that sex is a marital obligation, it is not an obligation. It is not that thing comes from culture, tradition.
And
There is
religion.
no such thing as a person having rights over your body. In fact, it's not even having right. That marital obligation thing, because I've had a conversation with a pastor before who told me that, what about the wedding vows that says, all I have, I give to you? You don't have your body. Your body is what makes you you. Is your body, you can have things. Your body is not something you have. Do you
It
understand?
belongs to
Your
you.
body
It's like it is you.
is you.
Yeah.
So you cannot give your body to somebody. And that is why, because if you are able to
Giving your
give
body
your
means
body
you
to
are giving
somebody,
yourself to someone, which you lose your
that
autonomy.
means
You lose
the
your
person
power.
should have rights to unalive you. If you have the power to give your body to somebody, the person should have rights to unalive you.
Yeah.
If they amputate your arm, you don't have a right to,
Because you
you
gave
shouldn't
them.
be pressing charges because you gave. So there is no such a thing. There is no such a thing. And a lot of women have endured a lot of things, and they tell you that they perform their marital obligation.
Duties. Yeah.
Those things are not. Sex is something that should be pleasurable to both of you. It should be something that you both want to do, right? It is not an obligation. You're not obligated to allow anybody use your body for anything. You can do it if that is what you want to do with your body, but it is not an obligation. Okay? An obligation is something like, as a Nigerian, it is your obligation to ensure that your environment is sanitary, is an obligation to obey the laws, respect other people's rights. Those are obligations.
But not losing yourself.
Yeah. That thing even goes beyond losing yourself. It goes beyond just like, when we talk about losing oneself, it's kind of mild when you look at how it's mild. Giving yourself to somebody is like you've ceased to exist. That's what it means. You've ceased to exist.
It's power.
Yeah.
Is handing over your power to someone else. Now
Yeah.
the person has power to do whatever they want with you
Whatever they want
because
with you. And
you have handed over, you have relinquished yourself,
that
you have
is
relinquished your power to another person.
that is actually what the patriarchy was like aimed to achieve with the concept of marriage.
Hmm.
That is what it aims to achieve for women. So sometimes when I hear women be like, oh, the Bible said both of you should submit one to another. I'm like, play out how submitting one to another plays out in real life. How does it? When I started talking against submission online, that was the scripture that people started bombarding me with. So the only thing I'll tell you, play it out to me. How does it happen in real life? Can you, if you want to say okay, it's like submission in itself is like, I hate to, this has nothing to do with our conversation. I don't know how I got here. This is just one topic that annoys me most of the time.
I
Let me not
think
go
next
there.
thing we should talk next on our next this thing we should talk about submission. There are some very important topics I want to talk with you about, which I think that you are very knowledgeable about. Which is one is submission, one is autonomy. I think you have a lot of um knowledge,
I have
wisdom about
passion.
submission
I have
and
passion for the topic of
yes, and I
submission and
think that we should
autonomy.
our next talk should be on submission. Probably next time we talk about autonomy. I think a lot of
Yeah,
people need it's an information that needs to be out there for people
yeah,
to hear
yeah.
and learn. Yeah, for women. So yeah. So you as you you actually believe that we are making systematic changes and we are making real change systematically and not just culturally and
Of
socially.
course. We
Yeah.
are shouting that women inclusivity and they are putting women in government.
Do you think
Okay?
we'll be
Okay,
president one
sometimes
day?
you say what me?
President, we will be president one day, women,
Yeah, women, right.
especially in
No,
Africa. I mean,
yeah, so there are so many things. Educational awareness. Women are going to school these days without, in fact, women are outschooling men. I mean,
yeah.
women have even outschooled men, to be honest.
Hmm.
I saw a woman who said she's a maternal feminist. I don't know what that means. Like, I saw this interview with this lady who is like, she's a maternal feminist, and she was talking about women are outschooling men,
Hmm.
and she thinks we should look into it because when a woman gets to that stage, the pool for her to even marry in narrows down. When she was saying that, I'm like, this is clearly maybe a boy mom, all these social media boy
Yeah,
moms that
yeah.
they've not balanced their IQ. Because she
She's
was
scared for
like,
her son.
yeah, that the
Her
pool
son needs
of
to
the
catch up.
dating and marriage pool is becoming smaller. So women can no
Hmm.
longer meet uh
20% of female engineers. Wow.
I'm just reading somebody's. I'm wondering the opera might quite be problematic futuristically. The patriarchy has become problematic and people did not have a problem with it. So why
Hmm.
are people
Apparently, we are
speaking
fine
up?
with it when it was
So yeah,
patriarchy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So why is somebody speaking up against their own abuse now
Hmm.
problematic? Like you're trying to control the tone of my response
It's
to
like
the
saying
pain that I feel.
slaves are becoming more rebellious. This is a
Yeah,
problem. Slaves will
yeah.
escape
So you
one
can.
day.
This is the reason why I don't engage men in conversations because no matter how feminist a man says or educated in feminism or how much he says he's interested in the rights of women,
Hmm.
there is a blockage somewhere that does not allow information to completely pass. I'm
Hmm.
saying we are coming from a generation where the lives of our mothers did not mean anything. These women were unalived on the altar of the patriarchy. So at what point, if my mother was unalive, at what point will you tell Osinachi's daughter that her voice is becoming too
Too
much?
loud.
If she ever wakes up and is talking about domestic abuse, at what point do you think it will be okay for you to tell her that her voice is too much? The experiences she could have had with a mother was stripped away from her on that altar. And this guy was right in the comments when I was saying women presently carry traumas of their mothers, their grandmothers. It is generation. And I said it is not even it is not 10 generations. These are thousands of generations that has been coming till this day. So how did you think it was a bright idea for you to suggest that the way they respond to how they've been carrying is too slow
It's too
or is too
radical.
loud
It's too
or is
much.
too It's too
There
much.
is this new wave of men coming out to say, oh, women are too, you have already have rights. Why are you crying? Women are too radical about this thing.
But I
Women
am the
are
one that
overdoing
will
this
go to the
feminism
market.
thing.
It is me that will go to the market and a man out of nowhere will pull me and do my color and he will
And
drag me
touch
to
you,
force me
not
to
just
buy
pull you,
things.
intimidate, touch you
Yes, it
inappropriately.
is the same me that is waking up in the morning. If I want to go on a run today, on a run every morning, I go out every morning on a walk, right?
Mm.
I know that I have to dress in a way that from a distance you would think I'm a man, just so I feel protected. I grew up, so, you cannot walk without turning back to look at. I cannot walk into my house around 8 p.m. without
Mm.
turning back. Men don't have to live like that. Men don't have to live like that. Okay?
Mm.
I understand that you are anti-cultural and all, but at the bottom of it, you are still a man. You never have to live your life the way I
In
will have
fear.
to live my own life.
Yeah.
You never have to live that way.
I feel like if it was men who were oppressed, I mean, we would have gotten liberation a long time ago.
If men were,
If we were women that were oppressing men, liberation, they would have fought for their
women are
rights.
hyper, there's a part of us that is empathetic even to our abuser.
Abusers, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that empathy, because consider men as
And I
people
think
who,
another thing is because we bore them, we give birth to them. So we have love and empathy towards them, which is clouding our judgments.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
that part as well. Men don't fear women. It's not as if men don't fear women the way a woman can even hold a. Have you know, even in movies, you can see a woman holding a weapon and a man will still see mine and be trying to psych her.
Mm.
You that even look, if you see a woman that looks dangerous, it mesmerizes a man. Do you understand? The more
Yes, yes,
dangerous you look, the more
yes.
interesting you look to
Yeah,
him.
you are for him. Yeah, he
So
likes
when
the
I see
challenge.
women be like, oh, men like women who are feminine, I have never been a feminine person my entire life.
Mm.
And the number of men that have asked to marry me is preposterous.
Mm.
Preposterous. Which is like somebody who is even clearly telling you they don't care. Men, there is nothing about you that scares a man. As long as you're a woman, men understand that there's a part of you that have that empathy. There's
Mm.
a part of you that has reasoning
You have been
beyond
socialized
the
also
reasoning
to
that
be
they have.
nice to them.
Yes,
To you are not
not
dangerous to
even
them.
just to
They don't
them.
when they
You
see you, they
value
don't see
life.
danger.
Women value lives.
Mm.
Men don't exactly like danger. They just know that women are not dangerous. If they
Yes.
like danger, they'll be in army barracks causing trouble.
They know women are not men. A man can marry any woman and he feels safe. But a
Every
woman has to
single
be very
man,
careful a man she marries because he cannot alive her.
there is
And
no
a
man.
man can pick a prostitute and take her home without the fear that she might harm him. But a woman will never do it because
Yeah.
she knows how dangerous men are. Men
And you
can
see, there's this narrative, or there's this ideology that they are trying to push so hard. Since the word narcissism came on social media, I am beginning to see churches preach about narcissism, and they will tell you it is not only
men.
men that are narcissistic. I am here to tell you, knowing fully well that there are narcissistic women, dear women, understand that there is no such a thing as a narcissistic wife. There is no such a thing as they can be a narcissistic.
Woman.
Narcissism only shows itself where there is power difference.
Imbalance.
A
Yeah.
narcissist can only be narcissistic where he has power over the other. There
And
must
because
be a
a woman
certain
does not
degree
have
of
power
power.
over the man in marriage, she cannot be narcissistic
Exactly.
towards him. There's already a
So
power imbalance.
yeah, there can be a narcissistic mother. There can be a narcissistic sister.
Mm.
There can be a narcissistic sister-in-law, not a narcissistic wife. So don't let these people fool you. Don't let them fool you into telling you that you are the same with a man. A woman can be as abusive as a man. No, narcissistic women get abused in marriage. They get abused in marriage.
Their narcissism is outside. It's not inside because there is already a power imbalance.
Narcissism works, covert narcissism or whatever kind of narcissism. Covert narcissism is even what they teach women as coping mechanisms. When they tell you to, maybe the day we are talking about this submission and marriage thing, I don't know how I also got into this conversation,
Yeah.
right? Please don't tell me your uncle's wife was a narcissist. Your uncle, when you come on the live the day that we are talking about it, for those who are saying they know narcissistic wives, when you come on the day we are talking about that thing, or whenever we are talking about it, I would prove to you that your uncle was the narcissist in that relationship. Go on.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. I think we've covered a lot. And I don't know if there is something else that you would have loved to say or you wanted to say that was not covered in this conversation about the progress we have made as feminists.
Okay, I think I even lost my train of thought, but we have actually made progress educationally, socially, politically, like, legally and all of that. We've made progress. We've made progress.
All right. Thank you very much. There's a question I always ask for. Uh, why do you become a feminist? That's a question I always ask everyone that comes on the feminist lens. So, do you care to tell us why you became a feminist? Were you born a feminist, as I thought?
There's nobody that is born a feminist. Feminism is social advocacy. So there's nobody that is born a feminist. But what kind of triggered the feminist part of me is where I come from. Where I come from. I'm a Tarot girl from Plateau State, Lantan. So if I just tell you that, that alone should should tell you why I would want to be feminist. I just shared my mother's story, right? If it was a boy child that was sick like that, no matter how bad, they would not throw him
Away.
in. Not
Or
just my mom.
it's part.
Not just, yes, I'm just telling you, like, the environment that I came from. When you look at the level of oppression that goes on, when you look at our cultures even and things like that, and you begin to question things, most of the women, I was aware of when religion actually penetrated my community in depthly, right? I'm very much aware of those times. So a lot of women who ran into a religion from where I came from, they ran into religion to find shelter, because the level of oppression in culture, tradition, and everything was too much. So religion gave them
Hope.
like a glimpse of fresh air. Not necessarily hope, but it just loosened the belt a little bit on their necks. So when you look at how it is, and I feel like that was what even triggered me to be very religious until I started looking into the patriarchy in religion as well. So majorly is where I come from. When I tell you the stories of my environment, it's horrible. And at a point, I stayed with my grandmother for a while, so I was in the village for some time. So I can actually say it was horrible. And and then the kind of family that I had as well, right? My family has always been this family that is like the relationship between my parents back then is what they will call an ideal family and everything. So when you look at it, it doesn't relate with my environment and all that. So it triggered me to begin to study and question and all of that until I got to this point. There was a time where I would look at my parents' relationship, and that was all I wanted until I outgrew that one and understood that in itself too was also, there was a problem with that dynamic as well.
It's
Until I
just better
got to
than a
this.
lot of other relationships. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
Thank you very much.
so you can see what I was saying initially, just before we end this conversation, right? And whenever I tell you guys that don't welcome men in any feminist conversation of mine. There is no part of them, because in fact it is still this savior complex of feeling like when their own voices is better. When they enter a space with this conversation being held, when they hear something new, that they enter a space with the idea of teaching you something. They don't enter a space with the idea of,
Learning.
okay, I heard something new, let me take my time and maybe research it, or maybe hear the person out, and anything like that. You can see him doubling down, even though there are women in the comments enabling him, right? If you hear something new, you don't have to, because he understands that that conversation is going to take us to a place where he sees himself too. He will have to look at himself in the mirror as well. And that is a very uncomfortable thing to do. And he cannot sit with that discomfort. So he's arguing in the comment section over something you just heard, right?
And he's claiming to be feminist too.
Yeah, that's the issue. That's the issue.
Oh my God. So, Timmy, thank you very much.
Well,
I have been a beneficiary of your wisdom. I have followed you for a long time, and I love to listen to you and to learn from you. I believe that we can all learn from, each other. And I really want to know what you do. You can tell us what you do on social media, your social media platforms, so that other women can also benefit from this wisdom. So, what do you
okay.
do on social media? What are the platforms you are on, and what do you do there?
Okay, like the title of my name, my TikTok and my YouTube, Everything Woman with Timmy. I push out feminist content, but I major on the aspect of marriage and relationships. I shall major on marriage, and I debunk ideologies that are harmful to women in marriage, and those ideas that have, just like what I'm just talking about now, and then we are we are seeing the way the conversation is turning out, right? So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
things that have been normalized and everything is what I just put on, like a light
Mm.
on issues that ordinarily people would not want to touch on them. And then my specific concern is about submission and autonomy, like we mentioned earlier. So in
Yes.
almost all my videos, if you're talking to me about anything, I can always deviate. I don't know how I deviate conversations back
Submission
then,
and
but
autonomy. Yeah.
yeah, but that's what I
We should
do
have that
on,
conversation. We should. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I do on social
So
media.
you are everything woman with Timmy on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, and
On
on YouTube.
Yeah, but I only have time for TikTok for now, but I have few content on YouTube, but then eventually I'll be putting more things when I have more time.
All right. Thank you very much, Timmy.
Thank you.
We would love to have you again on the
All right. Thank
feminist.
you so much for having me. Still,
Thank you.
submission is not earned. Submission is an abusive dynamic. It is not earned.
All
All
right,
right.
Timmy. Thank you.
Have a
I think I
lovely
need to put
day.
out a flyer when we are going to have conversation on submission and autonomy, so
Yeah.
that we have, yeah, a very elaborate conversation about it. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Till
Yeah.
then, have a lovely day.
All right. Bye.